Listen, if she's pulling away, your first instinct is to think she's not interested, that she's ghosting you, that you did something wrong. But what if I told you the opposite might be true? What if the reason she's creating distance isn't because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much and she's terrified of what that means? Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal contradicts everything you've been told about female psychology. And there's one specific behavior at the end of this video that 99% of men completely misread. When you see it, you'll know with absolute certainty she's fighting her own feelings. But first, you need to understand something disturbing. The same woman who's scared of you today might have already imagined a future with you. And that's exactly why she's running. I'm going to show you the exact signs that separate a woman who's genuinely uninterested from one who's protecting herself from falling too hard. Because when you can read these signals, everything changes. You stop panicking, you stop chasing, and you start understanding what's really, is she avoiding you or protecting her feelings, happening beneath the surface. So let's start with the uncomfortable question. Why would a woman run from someone she actually likes? The truth about why she's pulling back. Picture this. She was warm, engaged, flirty. You had great conversations. She laughed at your jokes. The chemistry was undeniable. Then suddenly she goes cold. Her texts get shorter. She's suddenly busy all the time. The energy shifts completely. Your brain tells you one thing: she lost interest. Move on. But here's what most men don't understand. And this is going to sound insane. Sometimes the strongest feelings create the strongest resistance. And there's actual neuroscience behind this. When a woman develops unexpected feelings, her brain releases the same stress hormones as when she's in danger. Her amygdala literally treats emotional vulnerability like a physical threat. Think about that. Her body is chemically telling her to run from you, not because you're bad for her, but because you might be too good. Why? Because vulnerability is terrifying, especially for women who've been hurt before, for women who pride themselves on being independent, for women who didn't plan on catching sign #1. She pulls away after getting close feelings for you. When a woman starts developing real feelings, it triggers something deep. Fear of losing control, fear of getting hurt, fear of wanting someone more than they want her. And here's the part that'll blow your mind. She's probably tested you already without you even knowing it. Small tests, deliberate distance, manufactured drama, all to see if you'll chase like every other guy. And depending on how you responded, you either passed or failed without realizing there was even a test happening. But I'll reveal what those tests look like in just a moment. Because once you know, you'll see them. Everywhere. The protective mechanism kicks in. Create distance. Build walls. Pull back before it goes too far. This isn't logical. It's emotional survival. Her brain is trying to protect her heart. And ironically, the more she likes you, the harder she might push you away. But here's the key, and this is critical. When a woman is scared of catching feelings, she doesn't just disappear completely. She leaves clues, patterns, contradictions that don't make sense. If she's truly uninterested, and that's exactly what we're about to decode. But before I show you the signs, you need to understand something that most dating coaches won't tell you. There's one type of woman who will never show these signs. No matter how much she sign #2, she acts cold, suddenly likes you. And if you're dealing with her, everything I'm about to teach you won't work. Stay until the end because I'll reveal who she is and how to spot her immediately. So, how do you tell the difference between genuine disinterest and emotional self-protection? That's where the real insight begins. The signs. She's actually scared of catching feelings. Before we go deeper, just do one thing for me. Hit the like button because what's coming next includes a sign so subtle that when I reveal it, you'll immediately think of someone in your life right now. Let's keep going. Here's the first sign, and it's the most confusing one. Hot and cold behavior. One day she's texting you back instantly, laughing, sharing personal things. The next day she's distant, taking hours to respond, giving you one-word answers. If she didn't care at all, the temperature would be consistently cold. But this back and forth, that's internal conflict. Part of her wants to lean in. Part of her wants to run. And here's something disturbing. The warmer she gets, the colder she'll go the next day. It's not random. It's proportional. Had an amazing conversation last night. Watch her ghost you tomorrow morning. When you see this pattern, it's not rejection. It's sign #3. She watches you from a distance, resistance to her own feelings. She's punishing herself for getting too close. But wait, there's a hidden sign within this sign. Pay attention to when she goes cold. If it's always right after deep conversations or vulnerable moments, that's your smoking gun. Second sign, and this one's psychological. She gets defensive when you get too close. You ask her something personal. You compliment her in a meaningful way. You talk about the future, even casually, and suddenly she deflects, makes a joke, changes the subject, gets uncomfortable. Women who are uninterested don't get defensive. They just don't engage. But when she's scared of feelings, emotional intimacy feels dangerous. So she puts up walls the moment things feel too real. Now, Here's where it gets interesting. Watch what happens if you pull back after she gets defensive. Does she chase? Does she suddenly reach out with something random? If yes, you just confirm she's scared because she doesn't want you close, but she also doesn't want you gone. Third sign, and this one will make you rewind every interaction you've ever had. She watches you but pretends she doesn't. You catch her looking at you when she thinks you're not paying attention. She views your stories within minutes but takes sign #4, mixed signals that confuse you, hours to reply to your messages. She knows details about your life that you barely mentioned. But here's the creepy part. She remembers things you said weeks ago in passing, things you don't even remember saying. That's not casual interest. That's someone who's replaying your conversations in her mind. This is the behavior of someone who's paying attention, despite trying not to. If she didn't care, she wouldn't be watching. And I'll tell you exactly how to use this to your advantage in the strategy section. Because once you know she's watching, you can communicate without saying a word. Fourth sign, and this is where most men get it completely wrong. She mentions other guys but never seriously. She'll casually drop that someone asked her out, that her ex texted her, that some guy at work is flirting with her. But watch closely. There's no real investment in those stories. No excitement. Here's what's actually happening. And this is manipulative but effective. She's testing your emotional reaction. Will you get jealous? Will you pull away? Will you fight for her? This is a protection mechanism. She's creating artificial competition because deep down she wants to know if you're willing to compete. But here's the twist. If you do get jealous, you fail the test. The emotional fear versus lack of interest. Right response, complete indifference with a hint of amusement. More on that later. Fifth sign, and this one's a dead giveaway. Her friends act strange around you. They give you knowing looks. They seem surprised when she acts distant. They might even say things like, me, she talks about you all the time. Or, you should text her. But here's what they're not telling you. They know her patterns. They've seen her do this before with guys she actually liked. And they're watching to see if you're different. If her friends are invested in you too, it's because she's been talking about you a lot. Women who aren't interested don't make you a topic of conversation with their inner circle. And there's something even deeper here. If her friends start creating opportunities for you two to be alone, or they suddenly leave when you show up, that's not coincidence. That's coordinated. How to handle a woman who's scared of catching feelings. Most men make one of two mistakes here. They either chase harder, trying to convince her it's safe, or they walk away completely thinking she's playing games. Both are wrong, and here's why. Chasing confirms that you need her. Walking away confirms that you never cared. Neither is attractive, and neither makes her feel safe. Here's what actually works, and what you should do instead. This strategy is counterintuitive. Give her space, but don't disappear. Don't flood her with reassurance. Don't pressure her to open up. Don't try to logic her out of her fear. That only confirms that you're too invested, too soon. Instead, match her energy, not out of pettiness, but out of respect. If she pulls back, you pull back too. Not to punish her, but to show her you're not desperate, that you have a life, that you're not sitting around waiting. But here's the sophisticated part. When you pull back, you have to pull back to something, not to nothing. Stay consistent, but not clingy. Check in occasionally. Keep it light. Show her you're still interested, but you're not putting your life on hold. And here's the manipulation that actually works. When you do reach out, make it about something specific. Not, hey, how are you? But saw this and thought of you. With something genuinely relevant. This does two things. It shows you're thinking about her, but it also shows you're living a life interesting enough to have things to share. When she sees that you're not shaken by her distance, something powerful happens. The fear starts to fade because the thing she's most afraid of, losing herself in the connection, feels less threatening when you're not demanding all of her attention. Show vulnerability, but stay common mistakes men make. Grounded. Share your own fears, your own life, but don't make her your emotional project. Women are attracted to emotional depth, not emotional dependency. Here's an example. Instead of saying, I really like you and I'm scared of losing you, say, I've been hurt before too, so I get the hesitation. Same message, completely different energy. And most importantly, live your life fully. Hit the gym, pursue your goals, spend time with friends, build something you're proud of. When she sees you thriving, two things happen. One, she realizes you're not waiting around for her to decide. Two, she starts to feel safe because a man who's secure in himself is a man she can trust with her heart. Now, here's what I promised earlier. The type of woman this won't work on. The one exception you need to know. There's a specific type of woman who shows all these signs but will never commit. She's not scared of feelings, she's addicted to the chase. The difference. A woman who's genuinely scared will eventually let you in if you're patient. And final advice to stay in control, consistent. A woman who's addicted to the chase will find a new reason to pull away every time you get close. How do you tell them apart? Simple. The scared woman's resistance decreases over time. The chase-addicted woman's resistance stays constant or increases. If after weeks or months of doing everything right, she's still hot and cold with no progress, she's not scared. She's enjoying the drama and you need to walk away. Not as a strategy, but as self-respect. Final truth. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You can't force someone to stop being afraid, but you can be the kind of man who makes fear feel unnecessary. And when you do that, you're not just helping her feel safe. You're becoming the kind of man who doesn't need anyone to complete him, but is worth choosing anyway. But remember this, every moment you're spending analyzing her signals, every hour you're spending wondering if she likes you, is an hour you're not spending building yourself. And that's the real test. Can you be interested in her without being obsessed with her? Because the moment you become obsessed, you've already lost. Not just her, but yourself. If this resonated with you, drop a comment with the word feeling so I know you're paying attention. And hit that subscribe button because next week I'm revealing the exact text message that makes a scared woman chase you. You won't want to miss.